Benzino, father of popular rapper Coi Leray, denies claims that she used to sleep in cars and deal drugs, saying he always looked out for his daughter when she was growing up. Coi Leray claims she slept in cars and sold drugs. On Saturday, November 11th, Coi Leray sat down with Angie Martinez for an interview with her IRL podcast to discuss her upbringing. The former XXL freshman said after Benzino and Coi's mom got divorced, her mom got custody of Coi. She then said they slept in cars, dealt drugs, and struggled to get by. It was hard to eat. My mom was cooking up nickels and dimes, Coi said at the 1600 mark. I would see my father like online or whatever, even when the love and hip hop and all that kind of stuff was going on. But at the same time, I'm like this. I'm like, yo, how you get to live this life when we're over here struggling? Benzino ultimately responded to his daughter's accusation on Instagram Live on Tuesday, saying, Coi never slept in any cars or dealt any drugs. This is the most craziest stuff I've heard.
She said she slept in cars. Queen never slept in no car that I knew about. I had my daughter 5 months out the year. I was with her mother until she was 9, and I had her from 9 to 16. 5 months out the year, she'd be with me. She lived with me twice. She lived here in Atlanta with me, and she went to Campbell High School. Like, I was a single dad, and I was taking care of my kids, all my kids.
That's what Benzino said. It's a 7-minute video. Can't listen to the whole thing, but he said, yeah, I mean, she's with me 5 months out of the year. Him and her mother divorced at 7, and then he got her back from 9 to 16 from 5 months out the year. And basically he said, she looks like she's almost brainwashed. She ain't never slept in no car or sold no drugs. I don't know why she's running with this narrative. Coi Leray, she spoke extensively about Benzino in the interview. She said the Players rapper at one point said Benzino's envious of her success and is trying to get the spotlight through her notoriety. The former head of the source denied this claim immediately. He said, this has to be the most ridiculous poop I've ever heard in my life. He wrote, how the F can this be envious towards someone I raised, nurtured, provided for, influenced, and loved dearly? Man, oh man. Okay, there's several different layers. For one, I want to bring up what Joe Budden said. Shout out to the Pop Father, man. A huge influence on what I've done and been doing. But anyways, he brought up a good point. I made a video about this as well, about Michael Irvin, Hall of Fame wide receiver, as well as one of the top performing black sports commentators right now. He has a son by the name of Tut Tarantino, in which he went viral for exposing him recently, claiming that the son, Tut Tarantino, if you type him up on YouTube and listen to the music, he's rapping about guns, he's rapping about shooting people, he's rapping about all this type of stuff. And his father, Michael Irvin, completely condemned him for it. He said, yo, that's not true. I raised you in a gated community. You didn't experience any of those things. So now we understand that, right? Just prefacing the story, Joe Budden brought up a really great point in saying that, okay, we'll go with that. Yes, you raised him in a gated community. You done everything to make sure that the things that he's rapping about, he doesn't have to live or go through, right? And but he said the minute it goes into a song, right? The minute those lyrics become into music, it becomes an art form. And if it's art form, you don't want to alter that kid's art or your kid's art to get themselves out there and change their life, being that kids are trying to do something. And this is doper coming from Joe, being that he has the age and experience to speak on it. But he brought up a dope point, and I could agree. Like, if that was my kid, maybe if they started rapping about things they never rapped about and they lived in a gated suburban community, and they're trying to get their music out there, I get it. I know that's not the truth. Deep down, that's not the truth either. But it's art, right? And when it becomes art, you kind of don't want to alter that art form. So that's one perspective to look at. Another perspective to look at is Benzino probably sacrificed a lot to put his daughters in position to win, being that he was at the helm of one of the most prominent hip-hop companies, one of the companies that covered hip-hop, being The Source, right? So I can understand the frustration from both point of views. Like, damn, my own father speaking about my music that could affect my bag. It don't make sense. I can understand Coi's part too. And it's just interesting being that this dynamic is pretty weird. It's a father and a daughter going really like back and forth, which is it's not something you see frequently in hip hop, right? So I think someone between them two can mediate and mitigate something. Hopefully, like a father and daughter, you would assume could sit down for brunch or breakfast and hash it out. But it sounds like this is getting to a personal level. But yeah, man, what do y'all think? Who's right? Who's wrong? What would you do in this situation? Let me know, man.